saith restore. Reparations, none saith restore. There's a big thing going on now concerning the children of Israel getting slave reparations. Now, I don't know if anybody else has been hearing about this, but we're going to show you that there's a bill that they're trying to pass in the Senate for those that are descendants of the slaves to get reparations. But God said that none shall restore. And so, you know, although both sides are putting up a good argument, I mean, you got some that support reparations, I mean, including Gentiles. You got Israelites or black people that's putting up a good argument, and you got Gentiles that's putting up a good argument for reparations as well as no reparations. That door is not open over there. So, we're going to show you what thus saith the Lord concerning Israel getting reparations. So, we're going to start off first with, we're going to read about reparations for slavery first. This is what we're going to start off with. And then next we're going to have that slide. All right, brother.
Yes, sir. Reparations for slavery. Today, even after the success of civil rights movement, the black American population on an average has higher infant mortality rates.
So now we have a higher infant mortality rate.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
That's just one of the things. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The black American population on an average has higher infant mortality rates, lower life expectancy, higher rates of unemployment, lower income, and higher rates of imprisonment than the white population. Some argue that these problems are the legacy of slavery.
I beg to differ. And I'm going to show you why I beg to differ. Go ahead and read some more.
The legacy of slavery brought on by society's discrimination and racism. Are the conditions really a legacy of slavery? Question mark. If so, what should be done? Some African Americans argue today for reparations, a sort of compensation for the free labor blacks were forced to render during 250 years of slavery.
Now, so, you know, they're saying some of these things that are attributed to our people now due to slavery. You know, like high infant mortality rate, high unemployment, and low income, imprisonment, and everything. I'm going to show you that these are not due to slavery. These are not due to slavery. Now, we're going to look at this bill that they're trying to pass here called H.R. 40. So now this is H.R. 40 here. It says, you got it, Aaron? Okay, it says H.R. 40, introduced in the House of 2019. Commissions to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans Act to address the fundamental injustice, cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery in the United States and the 13 American colonies between 1619 and 1865, and to establish a commission to study and consider a national apology and proposal for reparations for institutions of slavery, its subsequent de jure and de facto, that's French, racial and economic discriminations against African Americans and the impact of these forces on living African Americans, to make recommendations to the Congress on appropriate remedies and for other purposes. So now this is the bill that they are trying to pass here. A sister by the name of Sheila Lee Jackson has introduced this bill for this year. And so reparations has been spoken of for years, for centuries. I mean, even we're going to see after the Civil War, they were talking about reparations when they were going to give black people 40 acres and a mule. Well, I keep saying black people. Let me just say how it is. give Israel 40 acres and a mule.
There you go.
So, but it didn't happen. Now, so let's go to the scriptures real quick here. Let's go to Isaiah the 42nd chapter. Isaiah 42 and 18. And let's see right off the top what the Lord says about this. Isaiah 42 and 18. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 18. Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see.
See, he's talking to the children of Israel right here. He said, hear you deaf, and look you blind, that you may see.
Who is blind but my servant? Or deaf as my messenger that I sent?
Go ahead.
Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant?
Our people are perfect. You understand that? You can't tell them anything. See, if I was to go to tell Sheila Lee Jackson and show her this, what thus said the Lord, she'd say, get out of my face. Somebody remove him from my office. Security! So who is blind but he that is perfect? Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger I have sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant? Because see, most of our people are blind to the fact of what the Lord said about being the children of Israel being restored. We are blind to the fact. Read verse 20, go ahead.
20. Seeing many things, but thou observe not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not.
You see what's going on, and we tell you as Israelites what's going on, but you're not observing, you're not hearing it, you're not observing it, you're not, like we say, you're not studying it. You're not bothered by this at all. Verse 21, go ahead.
The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
See, that's what the problem is. Our people don't want to keep the law. They didn't want to keep it then when they were in the land, and don't want to keep it now that we're in this land. And this is one of our biggest problems right here. No one wants to keep God's law. Then we let people of other nations tell us we don't have to keep God's law.
Whoa.
Let's go down. Let's go to Romans, the 11th chapter, Romans 11. Because he said, who is blind is my servant and deaf is my messenger. Romans, well, I want to let you know something. Romans 11, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. Romans 11 and 1. Romans 11 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Romans chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Some people think Paul is a Gentile. You just see what he just said. Even guy wrote a book about it, got the professors together and say, Paul could have possibly been a Gentile. I'm like, well, you didn't read this part right here? I say that have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. That don't sound like a Gentile to me. Verse 2, go ahead.
God hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not what the scriptures say of Elias,
Go ahead.
How he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars. And I am left alone, and they seek my life.
Go ahead.
But what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
See, these men have not bowed their knees to the image of Baal. They haven't ran after false deities and false gods and follow after falsehood. Go ahead and read.
Even so, then at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Don't you know in every generation God's got a remnant according to the election of grace? Even in this generation, he has a remnant according to the election of grace. Even right now.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think is standing before you?
Come on.
Skip to verse 7. Skip to verse 7. Go ahead.
What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, But the election have obtained it.
Go ahead.
And the rest were blinded.
And that's what has happened to our people. Most of our people are blinded.
Yes, sir.
It's just a few of us that understand who we are, who our God is, and how we're supposed to serve Him.
Come on.
It's only a few of us. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear.
You think about going on Capitol Hill and start telling them about this? What I'm reading to you today, that they gonna listen? They'd rather listen to Sheila Jackson with her bill of her proposal for reparations instead of listening to what thus said the Lord.
Come on.
Finish that.
Verse 9.
I'll skip down to verse, verse 11. Go ahead.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Go ahead.
God forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
To provoke us to jealousy. That's why the Gentile is on top and we're on the bottom. But the Lord had that written. If you don't keep my commandments, Israel, you're going to be on the bottom and the Gentiles are going to be on the top.
Yes, sir.
And that's what has happened. You know, you want to blame Gentile for this and blame the white man for that. It ain't the white man's fault. It's our forefathers' fault. That's whose fault it is. And God had warned our forefathers. Let's go now. Let's go to Daniel, the 9th chapter. Because look at what Daniel said right here. Daniel 9. This is all the way back in 538 BC. Daniel 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. See, our people have been hard-headed for a long time. For thousands of years. We are an ancient people.
Yes, sir.
But we've been a hard-headed ancient people.
Oh, indeed.
We're at Daniel 9 and 2. Daniel 9 and 2. Go ahead and read.
Daniel chapter 9, verse 2. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of years whereof the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet.
Now, you know, Daniel is talking about how they were going to be in captivity. So he understood by books, Jeremiah's books, in other words, that the children of Israel were going to be in captivity. Go ahead and read.
That he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto the Lord God to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes.
So now he's trying to pray his way out of it. Because it's coming. Because we read it in Jeremiah the prophet there. You know it's coming. And so Daniel knows it's coming. So he's trying to pray their way out of it. I don't care how much praying you do, how much marching you do. Lord might be a little sanctuary to you. But for the most part, the curses and the punishment for this people is coming. And it has come.
Yes, sir.
So you ain't getting out of it. He might be a little sanctuary like now. You know, you Israelite, he a little sanctuary to you. But for the most part, this punishment has came and it's still coming. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. And I prayed unto the Lord my God, and made by confession, and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned, and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Lord, righteousness be a longer unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces.
See, and that's what we got now. Even now, we have confusion when it comes to our people. We have confusion. Go ahead and read. Daniel laying it out right here.
Yes,
Go ahead and read some more.
But unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them.
See, through all the countries where thou hast driven them. These curses are following you, and this punishment is following you.
Yes, sir.
Even to this generation.
Come on.
Go ahead and read.
Because of their trespass, that they have trespassed against thee, O Lord. To us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Keep reading.
To the Lord our God belongeth mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him.
He's still trying to get the people out of it. He's still trying to get, you know, praying hard for the people and trying to get them up out of it. But it's coming. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10. Now that we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in his law,
go ahead,
which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
All Israel have, see, he's confessing everything. He said, all Israel have transgressed against thy laws.
Yes, sir.
But it don't matter, because now that they have done it, the curse is coming.
Indeed.
And it is here. Go ahead and read some more.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
Go ahead.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
Yes, sir.
The curses are poured upon us. Go ahead and read.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us.
See, you see, Lord, he's going, whatever he said he's going to do, he's going to do it.
Teach.
You understand?
Yes,
if he
sir.
say he's going to do you good, then he's going to do you good. If he say he's going to do you evil, then he's going to do you evil.
Whoa.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Back at 12. And he had confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
You search history and see what, see if you can find another people that have been whipped and murdered and enslaved like our people for so long. Because you're talking about the Arabs that had us in slavery for 1,400 years. Then here comes the transatlantic slave trade.
Yes, sir.
So now you find me another people on the earth that this has happened to. Go ahead and read.
Verse 13. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
You know, it would be good if our people could do this now.
Yes, sir.
It would be excellent if our people could do this now. But our people don't want to turn from their wicked ways and turn unto the truth. We don't want to do it. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 29th chapter. And you wonder why all these things happen. Have you ever wonder why these things are happening to us and still happening to us? And why everybody of another nation got their foot in our necks?
Not no more.
The Lord is doing this to you. That's why. That's why all these things are happening to our people. Because our people have been hard-headed and stiff-necked. We're at Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get that slide ready. Jeremiah 29:1. Go ahead and read it, brother.
Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 1. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon.
See, then, you know, this is what Daniel had been reading about. Now, we're not going to read all of it, but this is what he was reading about. So now, they had been carried away into captivity, into Babylon, right? Go ahead and read. Now, look at what the Lord is going to tell them when they get into captivity. Because you might as well take this advice right here. Go ahead and read.
Verse 2. After that, Jeconiah, the king and the queen, and the eunuchs, and the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, and the carpenters and the smiths.
You see that? Carpenters and smiths. Because let me show you, this is some of the jobs that we had, or our people had as slaves. Carpenters and smiths. That's just a couple of jobs that we had.
Sure.
But go ahead and read. Now look, he's giving them these jobs even at this time though. You know, I remember when I was a little boy, I had to be about, I don't know, because on Cottage Grove I must have been about 5, maybe 4 or 5. Anyway, we used to walk down Cottage Grove in Chicago, and they had torn down the building. Well, when we get over there, me and my little brother Eric, we get over there, they over there banging on the bricks, right? And then it dawned on me, we were brick makers in Egypt. Same thing that our brothers been doing. That was back in the 70s. I can tell my age. That was back in the 70s. I was a little bitty boy, and they was banging on the bricks. And then when I got older and understood the word of God, we were brick makers in Egypt, just like we working with bricks now. But go ahead and read some more. What verse you at?
The middle of verse 2.
Uh-huh.
It says, the princes of Judah and Jerusalem and the carpenters and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
By the hand of Elisha, the son of Shaphan, and Gemariah, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, king of Judah, sent into Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
See, he sent these carpenters and these smiths to Babylon. And see, that's what Nebuchadnezzar did. He took the best, the princes, the wise people, and all of that. He took them out first. Then here come the smiths and the carpenters and everything. Go ahead and read verse 4.
Yes, sir. It says, to Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives.
Now wait a minute. He said, thus saith the Lord of the hosts, the God of Israel, to all that are carried away captives. Go ahead and read.
Whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon.
Who caused to be carried away captive? The Lord did.
Yes,
who caused us to be carried away captive? The Lord did.
Yes, sir.
You can shake your fist at the Gentile, at the Hamite, or at the rest of the Edomite Jews. You can shake your hand at them all you want to. But God has caused us to be in captivity, just like right here, the children of Israel in Babylon. Look what he's going to tell them. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Build ye houses and dwell in them.
Build you houses and dwell in them. Go ahead.
And plant gardens.
Plant gardens.
And eat the fruit of them.
Go ahead.
Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters. And take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands.
Because it's going to be a long captivity for you, Israel. It's going to be a long captivity. So you might as well build your houses and plant your gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters and take wives for your sons. Because it's going to be a long captivity for you. And right now, we've been in a long captivity. It's been over 400 years we've been in captivity. Go ahead and read.
And give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there, and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city.
Seek the peace of the city. Don't go around shaking a fist. And see, that's when you understand who done this to you, then you won't be standing up talking about, well, we want our rights and everything. You'll be talking to your God and asking him for your rights.
Teach, brother.
That's who you be asking for your rights. That's if you got some understanding. Go ahead and finish that.
Verse 7. And seek the peace of the city, whether I have caused you to be carried away captive.
Well, I have caused you to be carried away captive. Go ahead.
And pray unto the Lord for it.
See that? Pray unto the Lord for it. That ass getting kind of a little cool in here. Go ahead, finish that.
Okay.
I'm like Aretha Franklin, boy. I don't like that air.
Okay, ready?
But anyway, I know he likes it. See,
yes, sir.
Go ahead and finish that,
yeah. For in the peace thereof shall ye have peace.
In the peace thereof ye shall have peace. And even if the ways of a man please the Lord, he will make even his enemies be at peace with him. Now, let's go to the next slide. So now we're gonna read this called Israelite, and my sister put that. She got tired of seeing things about slaves and everything. She's like, look, we Israelites. I said, okay, sis.
Hallelujah.
Skills, slave skills, and talents. So we're just going to read you some things right here. So go ahead and get that. Yeah, that's it.
This is entitled The Cultural Landscape of the Plantation.
The cultural landscape of the plantation. Go ahead.
Slave skills and talents. My father was a carpenter. And
oh, wait a minute. Just like during the times the children of Israel were in Babylon, they were carpenters, right?
Yes.
Keep reading.
Yeah. My father was a carpenter.
Excuse me 1 second. Now this is from the mouth of a slave right here. This is from the mouth of a slave. Go ahead and read.
My father was a carpenter, and old massa let him have lumber, and he own furniture out of addressed lumber, and make a box to put clothes in.
Now you're gonna have to sound like a slave now.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
Read this, man. Yeah. Y'all ready? Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna start from the top. My father was a carpenter, and old massa let him have lumber, and he own furniture out of dressed lumber.
That sounds a little better. Go ahead.
Yeah. And make a box to put clothes in, and he used to make spinning wheels and parts of looms. He was a very valuable man.
He was a very valuable man. Now look at some of the jobs that the slaves had. Now we're talking about 250 years of free labor. 250 years. Have you ever heard of anything that sounds like? Go check your history and see if you've seen anything like this. Over 250 years of free labor. Go ahead and read that next part.
Yeah. Slaves had many noteworthy skills and talents, which made plantations economically safe, self-sufficient. The services of slave blacksmiths.
Blacksmiths. Did we read about that over in Daniel, where he said that they were, in Jeremiah, where they were smiths and they were carpenters? These are some of the same jobs that the slaves had here in America. Start that again, brother.
Yeah, from the top. Slave had many noteworthy skills and talents, which made plantation economically self-sufficient. The services of slave blacksmiths, carpenters, coopers, shoemakers, tanners, spinners, weavers, and other artisans were all used to keep plantations running smoothly, effectively, and with little added expense to the owners.
Oh, little added expense to the owners. Why? Because it was free labor.
Yes, sir.
For 250 years. Free labor. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 28th chapter. I know they fared well. You understand? Free labor for 250 years, but look, God is the one who did our people like this. You understand? The Gentile and the Edomite Jews, because they were there too, helping with the slave trade. The Arabs, they were only carrying out God's word and prophecy. That's what they were doing. We had Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Everybody got it? Glad to see everybody come out today. Go ahead and read it.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir. It says, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Wherever you went, Israel, as a slave, you were cursed.
Yes, sir.
Out there picking that cotton and that tobacco and everything, you were cursed. You run to the city and everything, you got to have a pass. You understand? And show you that the master said you can come out and grab some supplies or something. Cursed in the city, cursed in the fields. Go ahead and read.
Verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Uh-huh.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Your children gonna be cursed. So this is going from generation to generation. Your children even gonna be cursed. Uh-huh.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep.
Go ahead.
Cursed shall thou be when thou cometh in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goeth out.
Skip to verse 25. So the Lord gonna curse you. Everywhere you go, you're gonna be cursed. Skip to verse 25. Go ahead and read.
25.
Uh-huh.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them.
Uh-huh.
And shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
You say you're gonna be smitten before your enemies. Your enemy gonna beat you down and kill you and all of these things. He said, but then you shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Now, if that ain't us, then you tell me who fits this. You're going to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Skip to verse 29. Go ahead.
29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in the darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
Thou shalt grope in the noonday. You're going to be blind and grope in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore.
Now, who are the oppressed people in this country?
Israel.
I mean, I know, a lot of people don't think we are oppressed, but we are. Y'all, they didn't think the slaves were oppressed neither. Well, old Joe, he's doing good. Negroes are happy in this town. Ask the slave, is he happy? He gonna say, no. Get me out of here. You understand what I'm saying?
Come on.
But you gotta realize something though. God done this to our people.
Bring that out.
Because you know why? None saith restore. Look, I put this sentence on you and you're going to carry it out. Read that verse 29 again.
And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
You shall not prosper in your ways. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save thee.
Anybody saved us? I mean, we've had, even the Lord had it written in Isaiah 51st chapter. He said, your wise men are famished. You had W.E.B. Du Bois, who was against the Tuskegee guy. What's his name? Booker T. Washington. You got these guys arguing with each other. Thank you, brother. You got these guys arguing with each other. Booker T, he's trying to go along with the thing. Like the Lord said in Jeremiah, he's trying to go along with it and keep the peace. Booker T, W.E. Du Bois, like, no, we're not going along with it. So you got these two at odds with each other. You had many of our wise men that come step forth. Frederick Douglass come and step forth to try to free this people, and try to liberate this people. Did it work? These brothers spend their lives and lifelong careers trying to help these people and try to free. Yeah, some of the brothers, you haven't had Black Wall Street. You understand? In Oklahoma. That lasted for a little while. You had other people in North Carolina that worked alongside, had communities with Gentiles set up. You understand? But that lasted for a little while till they turned on them. You understand? Rosewood, flourishing communities, right? Black communities. It lasted for a little while, but then the Lord had them come in there and burn it down, just like what he did with Jerusalem several times. He said, look, I'm going to come in and I'm going to burn it down. Since y'all won't do like I tell you, I'm going to come in and burn it down. And the people are going to walk by and they're going to hiss at it and they're going to wag their heads saying, what happened to these people? They wouldn't follow the word of God.
There it is. There it is.
They wouldn't keep his laws and his commandments. Let's go now. Let's go to Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59. I wish our people would wake up and see this. Isaiah 59 and 1. Isaiah 59 and 1. Isaiah 59 and 1. Because God, he can save, look, God can save his people. I tell you what, you want to get some reparations? It's about 40, 50 million of black people here in this country. I got a plan, but I know it ain't going to work. Give each one of us $1 million. It's all over with. I mean, I know it ain't enough. It is not enough for all the atrocities, all the work that our people have done in this country, all the murders that were committed against our people. I know it's not, there's no number. But if you want me to be quiet, put $1 million in my hand, I ain't got nothing else to say about it. But I know it ain't going to work. I know it's not going to happen. You know what reparations are waiting on? The Lord's reparations. He's going to do it right. You understand? We're going to be in our own country again. Calling the shots on top. But anyway, we'll get to that. Isaiah 59 and 1. Because the Lord, he can save you if he wants to. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save. Neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear.
See, the Lord's hand is not shortened that he can't save. He can save his people. He can hear you. He can hear the cry. Didn't he hear the children of Israel's cry when they were in Egypt? Didn't he hear the children of Israel's cry when they were in Assyria and Babylon? He heard their cry and he delivered them. But this time, he might hear your cry, but it's not time for deliverance yet. It's not time to be restored yet. Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. But your iniquities have separated between you and your God. And your sins have hid his face from you.
Go ahead.
That he will not hear.
That he will not hear. Stop sinning, Israel.
Come on.
That's what you turn back to your God. Stop walking in his laws and his commandments. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity.
Go ahead.
Your lips have spoken lies.
Look, we even got blood shed blood amongst our people. Like they had it written in Hosea. They break out and blood touching blood. And what do we call it today? Black on black crime. We done turned on each other. See, the Gentile, he didn't got to go about shooting nobody and all that. Israel going to do it on their own.
Yes, sir.
So you want to holler, Black Lives Matter. Well, the black lives don't matter in our communities, in the black communities. Everybody free game in the black community, but when it comes to somebody else or another nation, shooting one of us or killing us, oh, Black Lives Matter. When we're doing more killing amongst each other than anybody.
Teach.
Go ahead and read, brother.
Yeah. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice, nor any pleader for truth. They trust in vanity.
They trust in what?
Vanity.
Vanity.
And speak lies.
Go ahead.
They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity.
Skip to verse 8. Skip to verse 8. Go ahead.
The way of peace they know not. And there is no judgment in their going.
Go ahead.
They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. Therefore is judgment far from us, neither does justice overtake us.
See, we don't get no justice. What they say, no justice, no peace. Oh, I wonder why. Here it is written right here. No justice, no peace. Go ahead and read.
We wait for light, but behold obscurity. For brightness, but we walk in darkness.
Go ahead.
We grope for the wall like the blind.
Didn't the Lord say you're going to grope in the noonday? He said, we grope for the walls like the blind. Don't know which way to go. Well, we know which way to go. I'm talking about us in here. We know which way to go. We know to go to our Lord, our God, and our Savior. We know which way to go.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
But the masses of our people don't know which way to go. They groping at the wall.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
We grope for the wall like the blind. We grope as if we had no eyes.
Go ahead.
We stumble at noonday. As in the night. We are in the desolate places as dead men.
Go ahead.
We roar all like bears and mourn sore like doves.
Go ahead.
We look for judgment, but there is none.
We look, everybody hollering up in a roar like a bear, right? Shaking the fist, right? And then we mourn. Let somebody in one of our family get shot by, I don't care if the police or whoever it is. We mourn.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
We look for judgment, but there is none.
We're looking for judgment, but there is none.
For salvation, but it is far off from us.
ahead.
For our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us.
Our sins testify against us. Even today in this generation, our sins are still testifying against us.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
For our transgressions are with us, and as for our iniquities, we know them.
We know, you know when you're doing wrong. Because that's why you sneak and do it. But anyway, let's go now. Let's go to Lamentations, the 5th chapter. Now here's when the children of Israel was starving in Jerusalem. And the Lord had brought the hammer down on them again. We in Lamentations 5, and we're going to pick up in verse 1. Lamentations 5 and 1. Because the Lord knows how to get this people. He'll starve you. Make you that you're hungry, that you be, next thing you know, you be on your knees praying to him. Lamentations 5, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. Lamentations 5 and 1. See, our people have played a part in our destruction.
It's great.
Our people have played a part in it. Our forefathers, and even in this generation now, we have been playing a part in it. That's why the Lord haven't restored us. You think they just started talking about reparations? Been talking about reparations ever since after the Civil War. They've been talking about reparations. And you know what? Lincoln was going to give it the reparation of 40 acres and a mule to the slaves, but what happened? He got assassinated. Lord, like, no 40 acres and a mule for them. You better recognize this God right here, man.
Yes, sir.
You better recognize this God. Lamentations 5 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 1. Remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are widows.
Go ahead.
We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us.
Our wood is sold unto us. Go ahead.
Our necks are under persecution.
Stop right there. Is Israel's neck still under persecution? Still under persecution. Look, they talk about, okay, like I said, about 40, 50 million of us, right? So everybody, we got people on this side of the aisle hollering, no reparation. You got people on the right side hollering, yeah, we're going to give reparations. Been saying it for hundreds of years. But look, you got these people just come across the border trying to get in here into the United States. You know how much money they talk about giving them? About $3 to $4 billion. But we can't even get 40 acres and a mule. But I'll tell you what though, if you want to keep my mouth quiet, give me $1 million. Give everybody in my family $1 million and we'll keep quiet. But I know it ain't gonna happen. You'd rather give $3-4 billion to these people that's trying to come over here in this country, right? Instead of giving up $40-50 million to the descendants of slaves. You know why? None said restore.
That's right.
Them people weren't beat and hung and were worked for 250 years free labor, but yet the United States is getting ready to pass a bill now to give them $3-4 billion, not million, $1 billion. And they just hanging out on the border, waiting for that money and those supplies. Then you even had Jesse Jackson stand up with Operation Push. Oh, we're going to give them supplies. They didn't spend a couple of $1 million. But you got people in the projects. But anyway, let's go now to what verse are we at?
5.
Go ahead.
Remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach.
Uh-huh.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers and our houses to aliens.
Go ahead.
We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
Uh-huh.
We have drunken our water for money, and the wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest.
Uh-huh.
We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread.
Go ahead.
Our fathers have sinned and we have borne their iniquity.
See, our fathers have sinned, and we have bore their iniquities. We have bore their iniquities.
Yes, sir.
This thing is going on from generation to generation. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Servants have ruled over us.
Uh-huh.
There is none that doeth deliver us out of their hands.
Skip to verse 19. Skip to verse 19.
19.
Uh-huh.
Thou, O Lord, remainest forever.
Uh-huh.
Thy throne from generation to generation.
See, his judgment, his throne from generation to generation.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Wherefore dost thou forget us forever?
He said, wherefore dost thou forget us forever? No, Lord haven't forgot us forever, but those things that he said was going to happen to the children of Israel, they are going to happen to them even to this generation until the Lord gets ready to deliver his people. These things are going to happen to us. Go ahead and read.
Wherefore dost thou forget us forever and forsake us so long time?
See, he forsaken us for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Although those ones that walk in righteousness, he said, I'll be a little sanctuary to you. Go ahead and read.
Turn thou us unto thee, O Lord.
You see that? you see what he just said? Turn us thou unto thee, Lord. Turn us to you, Lord. No, you got to turn to the Lord. He ain't going to turn you. He'll turn you by whooping on you. If you get some fat on your head, then you might turn to him. But he's not going to turn you to him.
Make it plain.
You got to turn to the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Turn thou us unto thee, O Lord, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old.
Go ahead.
But thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us.
Thou hast utterly rejected us, and he's been wroth for so long with us. I mean, I'm talking about ever since the children of Israel came out of Jerusalem in 70 AD, he's been whooping on us.
Amen.
Up until this generation. And he's still whooping on us. And our people still won't listen. Let's go to Hosea. Hosea, the fourth chapter. Hosea 4. Hosea 4. When are we going to learn? Hosea 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Hosea 4 and 1. When you get it, brother, start reading.
Hosea chapter 4. Verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
And that's what we need in this land. We need the truth in this land.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 2.
By
swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out. And blood touches blood.
Isn't that what we're doing now? Isn't that what our people are doing now?
Yes, sir.
He said by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Black on black crime. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3.
Got our young men pulling out guns and shooting each other. Down in the street, talking about this my turf. I'm selling drugs over here. You can't sell drugs over there. You can't sell drugs over here. You can't. Look, man, you don't own nothing in this country. You don't even own a square that's on the sidewalk. You don't even own that. Talking about what's yours. And then wonder why our young men, I'm not talking about all of them, wonder why a lot of our young men get shot down the street. A lot of times the police are scared, black and white. They coming into these neighborhoods, and they know these gangbangers, and they know that Israelite will shoot you in a minute. And a lot of times they come in the neighborhood scared, black and white. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another. For thy people are as they that strive with the priests.
Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou fall in the day.
Therefore shall thou fall in the day.
And the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night. And I will destroy thy mother.
Go ahead. This is what I really want to get to. Go ahead and read it.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Don't you know if Sheila Jackson had this knowledge right here, she probably wouldn't be called for no reparations. You understand? Those smart young brothers, we're gonna see a couple of videos. Danny Glover. You understand that the famous actor Danny plead for reparations. But if he knew this right here, he'd probably shut his mouth. He said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Go ahead.
That thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
Ooh. He said, I would, you don't forget the law of your God, I'm going to forget even your children.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame.
I'm going to change their glory into shame. And the Lord hath done it. He hath turned our glory into shame. Let's go to Leviticus, the 26th chapter. Leviticus, 26th chapter. See, you got to understand about this people and why we in the condition that we in, first of all. You got to understand that. And then you understand that none saith restore. These people won't be restored until the Lord returns. You will understand that. We're in Leviticus 26 and 13. Leviticus 26 and 13. Go ahead and read it.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 13. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go upright. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror.
I'm going to appoint over you terror.
Consumption.
And our people have been terrorized. I don't care what country we have been taken captive in. We have been terrorized as a people. Go ahead and read.
Consumption. And the burning egg that shall consume their eyes. And cause sorrow of heart.
Go ahead.
And you shall sow your seed in vain. For your enemies shall eat it.
Verse 17. Go ahead.
And I will set my face against you.
And I will set my face against you. Go ahead.
And ye shall be slain before your enemies.
And you shall be slain before your enemies. Who is that right there?
Israel.
Us all day, bro.
You know, we holler about the Gentiles slaying, black folks slaying each other.
Right.
You understand? Anybody come out, pull a gun up on you and start killing in our communities. That's because the Lord said this right here. And you shall be slain before your enemies.
They that hate you shall reign over you.
They that hate you shall reign over you. Go ahead.
And ye shall flee when none pursueth.
Even say a leaf gonna be blowing by, you gonna run because a leaf blowing.
Jump.
That's how scared you are. Lord gave you that trembling heart.
Yes, sir.
Like he said on Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Gave you that trembling heart.
It's real.
Skip to verse 23. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And if you will not be reformed by me, by these things.
See, the Lord's got to reform you. And he's not going to come down here and do it for you. I'm talking about personally. He's going to give you his word. And that's what's going to be reform you.
Yes, sir.
Ain't no jail going to reform you. The Lord's got to reform you. Does anybody understand?
Yes, sir. Right here.
Start that verse again.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 23. And if ye will not be reformed by me these things.
By these things.
Excuse me, let me go over.
Yep.
And if ye will not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you. And will punish you yet 7 times for your sins.
He said, I'm going to punish you 7 times for your sins. And you know, everybody else get a slap on the wrist. You get 10 years for the same crime.
Yes, sir.
Petty crimes. I'm going to show you. You know, I could have went deeper into this. You understand? But because when the children of Israel, when they were so-called freed in 1865, what did they turn around and do? Put you in prison. Israel, you spit on the ground, grab you like this, and rush you on to the prison houses. Then, if you even looked at a white woman or looked at a white man in the eye, they would grab you and put you in prison. Then they would do what? Lease you out to companies. Free labor still. It's still slavery. We just gonna find a more sophisticated way to do it. You understand? You still a slave, but we just gonna find a more sophisticated way to do it. Why? Because the Lord done us like this. Who done this to this people? God. God done this to us. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
25. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant.
Go ahead.
And when ye are gathered together within your city, I will send a pestilence among you.
Don't you know that the children of Israel had diseases when they were slaves? Even got diseases now. Who do you think have HIV more than any other nation in this country? We do. 72% of the HIV cases are black people. 72%. Go ahead and read. You know, people are, oh, this is a gay disease. No, not no more. This become an Israelite disease. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. Go ahead and read.
I will send the pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy.
You shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. Skip to verse 27. Go ahead.
And if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me,
go ahead.
Then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury.
Go ahead.
And I will chasten you 7 times for your sins.
I'm going to chastise you 7 times for your sins. You walk contrary to me, Israel. See, this is just like your own child. We are the Lord's children. But he said, look, if you want to do what I tell you to do, okay, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to bless you. If you don't, then I'm going to punish you. You walk contrary to me, I'm going to walk contrary to you. Yes, and I will chasten you 7 times for your sins. Everybody else get a slap on the wrist, but you going to jail. Petty crimes, you going to jail. Let's go now. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Let's go back to Deuteronomy, 28th chapter. And this time we're going to pick it up at verse 29. Deuteronomy 28 and 29. When you get it, brother, go ahead and start reading. 28 and 29.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 29.
You get that slide ready, brother.
And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind groweth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save thee. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
Who's one talking about my daddy was a sharecropper? Us. Our people, my daddy was a sharecropper. And then who picked the cotton and everything and planted the seeds for the cotton and the tobacco and everything? Our people did. Did we reap the proceeds of it? Even when they so-called freed us from slavery in 1865, the Israelite had a little land, right? Cultivated that land. He had to go to get his supplies from the Gentile. right? So he done cultivated that land and worked on that land all year. So when he go collect his money, well, old Joe, you broke even this year. Broke even? That's what happened. Because you know why? Because he had Gentiles that were poor, just like the Israelites were poor. So at the end of the year, when old John looking for his money, the Gentile will be like, hey man, you broke even this year. In some cases, hey, you still owe me. After you done worked the land and everything, you still owe me. Or you broke even this year. What verse you at?
31.
Skip to verse 60. Skip to verse 60. Go ahead.
Verse 60.
Uh-huh.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt,
Uh-huh.
which thou was afraid of.
Go ahead.
And they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee.
Look, he's going to bring all these sicknesses and plagues which are not written in the book of this law. He's going to bring them on you. Go ahead and read verse 62.
And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou would have not obeyed the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now, so we're going to look at this next slide right here. This is the slave picking cotton and tobacco. The slaves were picking this for free. You understand? Even my mother was telling me that when she was young, she used to pick cotton. When she was young. Now, they probably got a little paid for it during the times my mother was picking cotton. But before that, they weren't getting paid for picking no cotton. All those years, they picked cotton and tobacco. Because you're going to plant a vineyard and not reap the benefits of that vineyard. Let's go now. We're going to go to... let's go now. We're going to another slide right here, right? Wait a minute. I didn't get... Okay. Let's go now. We're going to Hosea 9 first. I want to show you something. We're going to go to the next slide in a minute. Let's go to Hosea 9. Look at this right here. Hosea 9. Now look at what he said about Ephraim at this time, but it's still going on even today in this generation. During the times of the slaves, and even during the time of this generation. We at Hosea 9. Hosea 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Hosea 9 and 11. Go ahead and read it.
Hosea chapter 9, verse 11. As for Ephraim, their glory shall fly away like a bird, from the birth and from the womb and from the conception.
Now this is Ephraim, that's the children of Israel right here. Go ahead and read verse 12.
Though they bring up their children, yet will I bereave them, that there shall not be a man left. Yea, woe also unto them when I depart from them. Ephraim, as I saw Taurus, is planted in the pleasant place. In the pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderers. Give them, O Lord, what wilt thou give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breast.
You see what he said? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breast. Didn't we see earlier, we read earlier, that this is one of the things that happened to black people due to slavery?
No.
He said, giving them a miscarrying womb. Go ahead and read.
And dry breasts. All their wickedness is in Gilgal. For there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings, I will drive them out of mine house. I will love them no more. All their princes are revolters.
Go ahead.
Ephraim is smitten. Their root is dried up. They shall bear no fruit. Yea, though they bring forth, yet will I slay Eve and the beloved fruit of their womb. My God will cast them away, because they did not hearken unto him. And they shall be wanderers among the nations.
They shall be wanderers among the nations. Now we're going to read you something right here. The diseases that are in Israel right now, and that were in during the times of slavery, rather. So now we're going to read that part. We're going to turn this page. We're going to read this and turn the page. Yeah. This. Yeah. Now listen to this. Go ahead.
Slave health on plantations in the United States.
Now everybody hear that? Slave health on plantations in the United States.
Life expectancy, a broad and common measure of the health of a population is its life expectancy. The life expectancy in 1850 of a white person in the United States was 40.
Man, that's pretty low, ain't it?
Come on.
40 years old. Man, go ahead.
Of a slave, 36.
Of a slave, 36 years old. That's pretty young, though, isn't it? Go ahead. Thank God he had a break on us. We wasn't now back during them time. Go ahead.
Mortality statistics for whites were calculated from census data. Statistics for slaves were based on small sample sizes. Diseases amongst slaves.
Yes, the diseases among slaves now. Look at some of these diseases. Because remember he said, I'm going to put some of these diseases that on you that's not written in the book of the law. Go ahead and read. What's first on the list?
It was high infant mortality.
Oh, high infant immortality. High infant mortality. He said, it told Ephraim, I'm going to give Ephraim a miscarrying womb. And so some of these diseases he is still putting on our people. Even today, say high infant mortality rate.
Worms. Diphtheria.
Diphtheria. We used to hear about that when we were young. Diphtheria. Ain't heard that in a long time. Diphtheria.
Whooping cough.
Whooping cough.
Cholera.
Never heard of it. Go ahead.
Typhoid. Tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. Look at the diseases that God was putting on the children of Israel during the times of slavery. High infant mortality, worms, diphtheria, tuberculosis. What's that last one say?
Leprosy.
Leprosy. Wait a minute. That's one of the things or one of the diseases that were put on the children of Israel during biblical times. Leprosy. Does everybody understand what we're saying here?
Many more. Yes, sir.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
But deal with you some of the diseases that were put on the children of Israel during the time of slavery. Now, let's go to Isaiah the 42nd chapter. Isaiah 42. And we're going to pick it up at verse 21 this time. Isaiah 42 and 21. Isaiah 42 and 21. Get that slide ready. Isaiah 42 and 21. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is the people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared and hold, and they are hid in prison.
They are snared and hold, and they are hid in prison houses. Go ahead.
They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith, restored.
And none saith restored. Now let me show you who got restored. Who got some reparations. You finished that verse 22, right? Look, let me show you who got reparations and who got somewhat restored. Go ahead. Look at this right here. It says slave owners get reparations. The slave owners. Now what they do, only thing they did was had the slaves beat them and made them work for free. But they're the ones who got reparations. Abraham Lincoln signed a bill in 1862 that paid up to $300 for every slave person freed. See, but Israel, none said restored. You're not getting restored. You're not getting no reparations. The slave owners, they start crying and hollering about, oh, what about us losing our workforce? What about us losing our work base? Abraham Lincoln signed a bill. Hey, for each slave you got, you're going to get $300. Who got reparations? The slave owners got reparations. But the children of Israel, you're not getting no reparation. We still wait on 40 acres and a mule. And you can keep that mule. Give me the 40 acres. Let's go to that next slide now. This is what happened after slavery. After they let the slaves go in 1865, then the slaves became prisoners of slave labor. See, they would hire these, first of all, you get put in jail. If you an Israelite or a black man, you get put in jail for very small offenses. You can spit on the ground. They catch you, you going to jail. You can look at somebody the wrong way. If they catch you, you going to jail. You were hollering and stuff in public? Oh, come on, you going to jail. So then what they did was took the men. I can even show you where they got the children. 9, 10, 11, 12 years old in prison uniforms, working. So it wasn't nothing but another form of slavery. This is after they so-called freed the slaves. Let's go to the next slide. Now this is right here. We're supposed to get the 40 acres and a mule right here. It says 40 acres and a mule. 40 acres and a mule, a phrase echoed through the South in the aftermath of the Civil War, asserting the right of newly freed African Americans to be redistribute land, particularly those plantations confiscated by the U.S. troops during the war as compensation for unpaid labor during slavery. Now, this was a law that was, they was arguing about this, a law that was passed. But what happened? Abraham Lincoln got killed. The next president that came in was like, no reparations for y'all. No 40 acres and a mule for you guys. Then they gave a few black people, 40 acres and a mule. The land was so bad, they had to walk off and leave it. Come on, mule. Walk off and leave the land. That's how bad the land was. No reparations for you, Israel. No 40 acres and a mule. Now we're going to play this video. Hold on one second. This video is pertaining to reparations. Okay? This was in 2019. They just had this committee set up in June. I think that was June 19th, 2019. Okay? Let's go ahead and play that video.
Yesterday, when asked about reparations, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell offered a familiar reply. America should not be held liable for something that happened 150 years ago, since none of us currently alive are responsible. This rebuttal proffers a strange theory of governance, that American accounts are somehow bound by the lifetime of its generations. But well into this century, the United States was still paying out pensions to the heirs of Civil War soldiers. We honor treaties that date back some 200 years, despite no one being alive who signed those treaties. Many of us would love to be taxed for the things we are solely and individually responsible for. But we are American citizens, and thus bound to a collective enterprise that extends beyond our individual and personal reach. It would seem ridiculous to dispute invocations of the founders or the greatest generation on the basis of a lack of membership in either group. We recognize our lineage as a generational trust, as inheritance. And the real dilemma posed by reparations is just that, a dilemma of inheritance. It is impossible to imagine America without the inheritance of slavery. As historian Ed Baptist has written, enslavement, quote, shaped every crucial aspect of the economy and politics of America, so that by 1836, more than 600 million, or almost half of the economic activity in the United States derived directly or indirectly from the cotton produced by the million-odd slaves. By the time the enslaved were emancipated, they comprised the largest single asset in America, $3 billion in 1860, more than all the other assets in the country combined. The method of cultivating this asset was neither gentle cajoling nor persuasion, but torture, rape, and child trafficking. Enslavement reigned for 250 years on these shores. When it ended, this country could have extended its hallowed principles, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all regardless of color. But America had other principles in mind. And so for a century after the Civil War, black people were subjected to a relentless campaign of terror, a campaign that extended well into the lifetime of Majority Leader McConnell. It is tempting to divorce this modern campaign of terror, of plunder, from enslavement. But the logic of enslavement, of white supremacy, respects no such borders. And the god of bondage was lustful and begat many heirs: coup d'etats and convict leasing, vagrancy laws and debt peonage, redlining and racist GI bills, poll taxes and state-sponsored terrorism. We grant that Mr. McConnell was not alive for Appomattox, but he was alive for the electrocution of George Stinney. He was alive for the blinding of Isaac Woodward. He was alive to witness kleptocracy in his native Alabama and a regime premised on electoral theft. Majority Leader McConnell cited civil rights legislation yesterday, as well he should, because he was alive to witness the harassment, jailing, and betrayal of those responsible for that legislation by a government sworn to protect them. He was alive for the redlining of Chicago and the looting of black homeowners of some $4 billion. Victims of that plunder are very much alive today. I am sure they'd love a word with the Majority Leader. What they know, what this committee must know, is that while emancipation dead-bolted the door against the bandits of America, Jim Crow wedged the windows wide open. And that is the thing about Senator McConnell's something. It was 150 years ago, and it was right now. The typical black family in this country has 1/10 the wealth of the typical white family. Black women die in childbirth at 4 times the rate of white women. And there is, of course, the shame of this land of the free, boasting the largest prison population on the planet, of which the descendants of the enslaved make up the largest share. The matter of reparations is one of making amends and direct redress, but it is also a question of citizenship. In H.R. 40, this body has a chance to both make good on its 2009 apology for enslavement and reject fair-weather patriotism, to say that a nation is both its credits and its debits, that if Thomas Jefferson matters, so does Sally Hemings, that if D-Day matters, so does Black Wall Street, that if Valley Forge matters, so does Fort Pillow. Because the question really is not whether we will be tied to the somethings of our past, but whether we are courageous enough to be tied to the whole of them. Thank you.
That is a good argument, but just like he was saying about our people being terrorized, the Lord said, appoint over you terror. And see, he's speaking the scriptures, but he doesn't know he's speaking the scriptures. You're going to be snared in holes and hid in prison houses. He doesn't even understand that he's speaking what the scriptures said was going to happen to this people. But none said restore. Let's go to Zechariah, first chapter, Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1. He is speaking what the Bible says, but if I wouldn't show him in this Bible, he'd probably say, man, get away from me with that. Reparations. Zechariah, the first chapter, Zechariah 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 14. Zechariah 1 and 14. When you get it, go ahead and read.
Zechariah chapter 1, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy.
Go ahead.
And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
See, so that's what the heathen have done. You know, they whooped on the children of Israel, but then they furthered the affliction. They have taken it too far.
Yes, sir.
And so the Lord, when he returns, he going to reap out his punishment and his wrath on those that have held us captive. He's going to mete out his punishment on them. Let's go to Zechariah 11 chapter, Zechariah 11. And we're going to pick up at verse 4. See, they have furthered the affliction. I don't care what country you in, Jamaica, United States, Europe, what continent you on. Whatever continent the children of Israel went on into bondage, the slave masters and the slave owners furthered the affliction. And the Lord is going to do something about that. You think Israel got a punishment, you just wait. Huh. Zechariah 11 and 4. Zechariah 11 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
Zechariah chapter 11, verse 4.
Thus
saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
Feed the flock of the slaughter.
Whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty.
See, whose possessors slay them. They kill them and hold themselves not guilty. Look at all the people that were hung on trees. You even got people that were burned. You know, Israelites, slaves that were burned. You know, you got Emmett Till that was killed for whistling at a white woman. He was unrecognizable when they found him in that river. Unrecognizable. But the ones that done that, they're going to pay for it. They might be asleep now, but the Lord going to wake them up. Hey, you remember what you done to Emmett Till? Payday time. Now I'm going to do that to you. Go ahead and read.
Yep, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord. I am rich.
Go ahead.
And their own shepherds pity them.
See,
not.
when they were selling the slaves and everything, they didn't have no remorse for it. None at all. When they were killing the slaves, they had no... Should we give reparations? We should, but are we? No. Because God said it thus. God said we're not going to get reparations. Now, they might try to throw something at you. Some program a social program that they have had already in the past, they're going to throw it back at you, give it back to our people in the community, and say, call it something else. And then say, well, these are your reparations right here. That's not going to restore us. That's not going to restore us. You want to restore me? Give me $1 million. I know it ain't going to happen, brother. Come on. They would rather give up $3-4 billion to some illegal people trying to come to this country to give up $40-50 million to the people that they have transgressed our sins that we have transgressed against the slaves. But you're not giving up no money for it, and you're not giving up nothing for it, no reparations for it, because the Lord said you're not going to give it. If the Lord hadn't said this, I'd be having my hand out, talking about we'd be doing another lesson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talking about how we should get it. You understand what I'm saying?
Come on.
But the Lord has said we're not going to get it. Oh, I would love to have $1 million. Get me a nice big house. They talking about, well, you give you $1 million. That's what people say. You give you $1 million. You ain't going to do it. Go buy a Cadillac and some chicken. Yeah. I'll go buy a Cadillac and 2 buckets of chicken if I want to. Because it's my prerogative, as Bobby Brown said. Let's go now. Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42, and we're going to pick it up at verse 22. Isaiah 42 and 22. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read. Get that video ready. Isaiah 42 and 22. Go ahead and read.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. For this is the people robbed and spoiled. They're all of them snared and hold.
See, we were robbed. We were spoiled. Go ahead and read.
And they are hid in prison houses.
We are hid in prison houses. just like God said was going to happen to us. Go ahead and read.
Therefore pray and none delivereth. For spoil and none saith restore.
And none saith restore. They might be, oh, well, we're going to give them this, and we're going to, but that's not going to, what amount of money can be given to this people for the atrocities that have been committed against our people? Even now, atrocities still being committed against our people. And there's no amount of money that can be paid for that. Go ahead and read.
Who among you will give ear to this? Who would hearken and hear for the time to come?
Go ahead.
Who gave Jacob for spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned.
See, the Lord have done us like, who gave Jacob for the spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned? That's why these things are happening to us, or have happened to us. Go ahead and read.
But they would not walk in his ways. Neither were they obedient unto his law.
Go ahead.
Therefore ye have poured upon him the fury of his anger and strength of battle.
Now, so he said he had poured upon him, they wouldn't walk in his ways. Therefore he had poured upon him his anger and the strength of battle.
And it hath set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not.
See, it has set us on fire round about. Nobody's asking the question. I'm talking about in mainstream media and the government. Black people ain't asking the question, why are all these things happening to us? And God is letting them get away with it. And why is God allowing all these things to happen to our people? Nobody's asked that question. Read that verse, verse 25 again.
Therefore ye have poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle.
Go ahead.
And have set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not.
Yet he knew it not.
And it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart.
It's burning you, but you don't even lay it to heart, Israel. Then you get an Israelite like me or Brother Caleb come and try to tell you what's going on with our people. You don't want to hear that. I mean, Brother Tyrone be calling me all the time on the phone, trying to tell people that we the Israelites. They're not trying to hear it. Brother, where that scripture at? All the time. They're not trying to hear it. They are not even asking the question, why are these things happening to us? Let's go now. Let's go to Psalm the 44th chapter, Psalm 44. Psalms 40, hold on, we got a video right here. Let's read it, let's look at this video. Now this is the opposition right here. Another young man, smart young man, opposing reparation. Go ahead and run that clip.
Slave labor, and because of the work of Representatives Jesse Jackson Jr. and Zach Wamp, the new visitor center is named Emancipation Hall in that recognition. Mr. Coleman Hughes is a columnist for Quillette and has worked as a freelance opinion writer since January 2018. He's had pieces published in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the National Review, the City Journal, and the Spectator. He's studying philosophy at Columbia University, and we appreciate your attendance, and you're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Cohen, Ranking Member Johnson, and members of the committee. It's an honor to testify on a topic as important as this one. Nothing I'm about to say is meant to minimize the horror and brutality of slavery and Jim Crow. Racism is a bloody stain on this country's history, and I consider our failure to pay reparations directly to freed slaves after the Civil War to be one of the greatest injustices ever perpetrated by the U.S. government. But I worry that our desire to fix the past compromises our ability to fix the present. Think about what we're doing today. We're spending our time debating a bill that mentions slavery 25 times, but incarceration only once, in an era with no black slaves, but nearly 1 million black prisoners. A bill that doesn't mention homicide once, at a time when the Center for Disease Control reports homicide as the #1 cause of death for young black men. I'm not saying that acknowledging history doesn't matter. It does. I'm saying there's a difference between acknowledging history and allowing history to distract us from the problems we face today. In 2008, the House of Representatives formally apologized for slavery and Jim Crow. In 2009, the Senate did the same. Black people don't need another apology. We need safer neighborhoods and better schools. We need a less punitive criminal justice system. We need affordable health care. And none of these things can be achieved through reparations for slavery. Nearly everyone close to me told me not to testify today. They told me that even though I've only ever voted for Democrats, I'd be perceived as a Republican and therefore hated by half the country. Others told me that by distancing myself from Republicans, I would end up angering the other half of the country. And the sad truth is that they were both right. That's how suspicious we've become of one another. That's how divided we are as a nation. If we were to pay reparations today, we would only divide the country further, making it harder to build the political coalitions required to solve the problems facing Black people today. We would insult many Black Americans by putting a price on the suffering of their ancestors. And we would turn the relationship between Black Americans and white Americans from a coalition into a transaction, from a union between citizens into a lawsuit between plaintiffs and defendants. What we should do is pay reparations to Black Americans who actually grew up under Jim Crow and were directly harmed by second-class citizenship, people like my grandparents. But paying reparations to all descendants of slaves is a mistake. Take me, for example. I was born 3 decades after the end of Jim Crow into a privileged household in the suburbs. I attend an Ivy League school. Yet I'm also descended from slaves who worked on Thomas Jefferson's Monticello plantation. So reparations for slavery would allocate federal resources to me, but not to an American with the wrong ancestry, even if that person is living paycheck to paycheck and working multiple jobs to support a family. You might call that justice. I call it justice for the dead at the price of justice for the living. I understand that reparations are about what people are owed, regardless of how well they're doing. I understand that. But the people who are owed for slavery are no longer here, and we're not entitled to collect on their debts. Reparations, by definition, are only given to victims. So the moment you give me reparations, you've made me into a victim without my consent. Not just that, you've made 1/3 of Black Americans who poll against reparations into victims without their consent. And Black Americans have fought too long for the right to define themselves, to be spoken for in such a condescending manner. The question is not what America owes me by virtue of my ancestry. The question is what all Americans owe each other by virtue of being citizens of the same nation. And the obligation of citizenship is not transactional. It's not contingent on ancestry. It never expires, and it can't be paid off. For all these reasons, Bill H.R. 40 is a moral and political mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Guys, he makes some good points, but what they both sides don't understand is none said restore. You know, a lot of people probably in that chamber there wanted to choke him. I see a couple of people up in here shaking their head like, God, if I could get close to him. But anyway, I found that very interesting how you had, blacks against reparation. And he said he was a descendant from those slaves that were on the Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's plantation. So I thought that very interesting too, that, you got some black people, because, you had Danny Glover there, and then you had a couple more black people that were against reparations. Well, I say this, that if the Lord didn't have it written in the Bible that we would not receive reparation or be restored, then I wouldn't be reading or doing this lesson today. We'd be doing a lesson on getting reparations, right? But since the Lord said none restore, then that's why we're doing this lesson today. Now, in my heart, I know that we're not going to get reparations, but I think we should get reparations? Yes. Give me $1 million and call it quits. We good. You understand? But anyway, let's go now. Let's go to Psalms 44. Psalms 44. We just got a little bit more to go. Psalms 44, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 20. Psalms 44 and 20. I know a lot of people say, no, don't get no. You ain't getting no $1 million, but let him offer you $1 million. See what you take. You gonna turn it down?
Not me.
Not me. I ain't turning it down. Nothing but my collar. Isaiah 44 and 20. Isaiah 44 and 20. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah chapter 44.
Psalms 44.
Psalms 44 and 20. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Psalms 44 and 20. No, I said Isaiah, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Psalms chapter 44, verse 20. If we have forgotten the name of our God, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not God search this out?
See, God have already searched this people out. He knows who's worshiping him and that trusted in him, and then that's worshiping another God. Go ahead and read.
Shall not God search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yea, for they say, are we killed all the day long?
For their sake are we killed all the day long. And that's what happened to the slaves. They were killed all the day long. Just like when they were in Jerusalem in 70 AD, they were being killed all the day long. Go ahead and read.
We are counted as sheep for the slaughter.
We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Go ahead and read.
Awake, why sleepest thou, O Lord? Arise, cast us not off.
Go ahead.
Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression?
Go ahead.
For our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our belly cleaveth unto the earth.
Now look, if our people have done this now, like they say like right here in Psalms, then maybe the Lord will have some more mercy on our people. You understand? He will have more mercy on our people. Go ahead and read.
Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake.
He said, arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. The Lord is coming. Here he comes. Let's go now. Let's go to Isaiah 49. Isaiah 49. And we're going to pick it up at verse 5. Isaiah 49 and 5. The Lord is coming. Amen. And when he comes, he is coming to deliver his people. Isaiah 49, he's coming to restore his people. Isaiah 49 and 5. Because he is the only one that can restore this people. How are you going to restore this people and all the atrocities and slavery and slave labor and deaths and all? How are you going to repay people for this? You can't repay us. Isaiah 49 and 5. Isaiah 49 and 5. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 5. And now saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant.
Go ahead.
To bring Jacob again to him.
See, because that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to bring Jacob again. Who is Jacob? The children of Israel. He's going to bring, he said, he has formed me from the womb to bring Jacob to him again. Who is this talking right here? This is the Lord talking about the mouth of Isaiah. Read that verse again.
And now saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him.
Go ahead.
Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength.
Go ahead.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribe of Jacob, and to restore the preserve of Israel.
Stop right there. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserve of Israel. Because that's what the Lord is coming back to do. He's coming back to restore the preserve of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. And I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Now, Let's go now. What 49? Okay, let's go now. Let's go to Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30, and we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. Because the Lord is going to restore his people. That's what he's coming back to do. Go ahead and read.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Alas, for that day is great,
Uh-huh.
so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble,
Uh-huh.
for he shall be saved out of it.
See, you haven't seen nothing yet, because the time of Jacob's trouble has been, and it is coming again.
Whoa.
When his people are going to be in trouble.
Great.
You understand? These people are going to be in trouble so bad that they're going to fall down on their knees and start calling upon the Lord, their God. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For it shall come to pass in that day.
Uh-huh. Because this is a time of great tribulation, which is going to come upon the whole world. But guess who's going to get the worst end of the stick? Israel. Verse 8. Go ahead and start it.
For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck.
Oh, so the yoke is going to be broken off of Israel's neck at the return of the Lord. He's going to break this yoke off our neck. Go ahead and read.
And I will burst thy bond.
Uh-huh.
And strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
Strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Go ahead and read.
But they shall serve the Lord their God.
See what they got to do? Serve the Lord their God. We got to serve the Lord our God. We've been hollering ever since I've known I'm an Israelite. I've been saying that. We got to serve the Lord our God. Uh-huh.
And David their king,
uh-huh,
whom I will raise up unto them.
Keep reading.
Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob,
uh-huh,
saith the Lord. Neither be dismayed, O Israel,
uh-huh,
for lo, I will save thee from afar,
uh-huh,
and thy seed from the land of their captivity.
Go ahead.
And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest,
uh-huh,
and be quitted, and none shall make him afraid.
This is when the Lord is going to restore his people. When he take them back to the land and he's going to be quiet and he's going to have rest and none is going to make him afraid. Then we're going to be restored. Skip down to read verse 11. Read verse 11. Go ahead.
For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee.
Uh-huh.
Though I make a full end of the nations, whether I have scattered thee.
See, he's going to have to smack the nations down in order to come and free his people. He's going to have to beat the nations down. Go ahead and read.
Yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Skip to verse 15. Go ahead and read it.
Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee.
He said, because your sins were increased, have I done these things unto you, Israel. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
Ooh. The Lord is going to turn this thing around. He said, all they that devoured you, Israel, they're going to be devoured.
And all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity.
The shoe is going to be on the other foot. He said, your adversary, he said, and therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. Go ahead and read.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
Keep reading.
For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds.
So the Lord said he's going to restore health to this people. I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. So God is going to give us our reparations.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read.
Because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Skip to verse 20. Skip to verse 20. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 20. Their children also shall be aforetime, and their congregations shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them.
I'm going to punish all that oppress the children of Israel. Let's go to Joel, the 2nd chapter, Joel 2. Because this is when we're going to be restored. This is when we will receive our reparations. Joel, the 2nd chapter. Joel 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 23. Joel 2 and 23. We don't have long to go. Go ahead and read.
Joel chapter 2, verse 23. Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God. For he hath given you the former rain moderately. And he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the 1st month.
Go ahead.
And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with the wine and oil. And I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten.
He said, I'm going to restore unto you the years that the locusts have eaten. This is just symbolism right here. Go ahead and read.
The cankerworm, and the caterpillar,
go ahead,
and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you.
Go ahead.
And ye shall eat in plenty, and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, that have dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed.
See, he knows these people like to eat. You see what he's saying? And ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied. Because he knows these people love to eat. And if I want to do them bad, then I'll take away their food. But if I want to do them good, then I'll give them plenty to eat. What verse you stop at?
27.
Now, did you read it?
No, sir.
Go ahead and read it.
And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel.
Where?
In the midst of Israel.
Didn't the angel tell Mary that you're going to have a son? And you should call his name Jesus. The Lord God will give unto him the throne of his father David. He shall dwell in the midst of the house of Jacob forever.
That's right.
He said, I'm going to dwell in the midst of them. This is what he's talking about. Go ahead and read.
And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else.
Go ahead.
And my people shall never be ashamed.
Wait a minute now, because our people are still ashamed now. He said, my people shall never be ashamed. He said, we read earlier that they're going to be ashamed. And we're still ashamed. We said right here, and my people shall not be ashamed. Let's look at some more. Let's go to Isaiah 54. We got 2 more after this. Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Isaiah 54 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 1. Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear.
Go ahead.
Break forth into singing, and cry aloud.
He's talking to the children of Israel. He says, sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Because he said, I'm going to give him give Israel a miscarrying womb. Go ahead and read.
Thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes.
Go ahead.
For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles.
And he said, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles. Go ahead, because right now the Gentiles have inherited us.
Come on.
But he said, this time, thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles.
And make the desolate cities into inhabitants.
Verse 4.
Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed. Neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore.
Verse 5, go ahead.
For thy maker is thine husband.
For thy maker is thine husband.
The Lord of hosts is his name. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
Thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Maybe I need to go up on Capitol Hill and do this lesson. Boy, they had the police grab me so fast, especially Donald Trump. What is this dude talking about? Get him out of here. Go ahead and read.
The God of the whole earth shall he be called.
The God of who?
The whole earth.
The whole earth shall. Skip to verse 7. Go ahead.
For a small moment have I forsaken thee.
Talking to the children of Israel, he said, because you know, 1 day with the Lord is 1,000 years. So he said, for a small moment have I forsaken thee.
But with great mercies will I gather
For
thee.
with great mercies will I gather thee.
Hallelujah.
And I hope I'm around to see this. Go ahead and read.
In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer.
Go ahead. He's calling him the Redeemer because he is the one that's going to restore this people. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee.
Man, I can't wait for this time. Skip the verse, because he's being wroth with us now, boy. Skip to verse 13. Skip to verse 13. Go ahead.
And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord.
Now you know this future. You see that? He said, all thy children shall be taught of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And great shall be the peace of thy children.
All our children be taught by somebody else now, other than the Lord. Go ahead and read.
In righteousness shall thou be established.
He said, I'm sorry, he said, and great shall be the peace of thy children. Our children don't have peace now.
Come on.
They run around in the streets, hellions, killing each other, being killed, robbing and stealing, doing all type of stuff. Our children don't have no peace right now. Go ahead and read, brother.
14. In righteousness shall thou be established. Thou shalt be.
In righteousness we gonna be. You know this future right now, don't you? You know this. If they say in righteousness shall I be established. Our people not established in righteousness now. So we're doing all type of wickedness now, right? Go ahead and read that again, verse 14.
In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression.
Oh, wait a minute. Thou shalt be far from oppression. We are still an oppressed people. Because the Lord said you're going to be oppressed and spoiled evermore. But at this time, in righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression. This is future we're talking about right here. Go ahead and finish that.
For thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee.
See, but we know that we're going to see, we getting terrorized now during the time of slavery. Then the brother just testified that we're still being terrorized now. When he said for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Terror is still coming to us.
Indeed.
Let's go to Acts the 3rd chapter, because it's not just going to come for us. We're not going to be the only one shouting hallelujah. Because he's going to set this whole earth straight. Acts 3, and we're going to pick up at verse 20. Acts 3 and 20. The Lord coming back to set this whole earth in order. Acts 3 and 20. Go ahead and read it.
Acts chapter 3, verse 20. And he shall send Jesus Christ, which before was preached unto you.
Go ahead.
Whom the heaven must receive until the time of the restitution of all things.
Until when?
The time of restitution of all things.
Until the time of restitution of all things. So Israel is not the only one that's going to be restored. It's going to be restitution for all things and all people. Finish that.
Which God hath spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began.
Isaiah 66, this will be last. Isaiah 66. This will be last. Isaiah 66, and we're going to pick it up at verse 18. Isaiah 66 and 18. Go ahead and read it.
Isaiah chapter 66, verse 18. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
See, it's going to be restitution of all things. And all people, he said, the nations going to come and see my glory. This is talking future right here.
And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pulu, and Lud.
Now these are Gentiles right here. And I will set up a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud.
That draw the bow to Tulu,
Tubal,
and Javan, to the isles afar off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory.
See, the Gentiles are going to hear about his fame and his glory. Right now, they haven't heard about his fame and his glory. Go ahead and read.
And they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles.
And they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. Go ahead and read.
And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations.
Oh, what a sweet day that's going to be.
Yes, sir.
What a beautiful day. People going to be bringing you up. Talking about you are the blessed of the Lord. You a Jew. You an Israelite. And bringing you up so that you can get ready to go home to Jerusalem. Go ahead and read. Let's start that verse again.
And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations upon horses and in chariots and in litters and upon mules.
Go ahead.
And upon
there go that 40 acres of a mule. I guess we're going to get one then, huh? Go ahead and read.
And upon swift beasts to my holy mountain Jerusalem, saith the Lord. As the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another.
Wait a minute. You know, still got the Sabbath day?
Indeed.
Because we're looking at future right here. Read that one more time.
23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
Shall all nations come to worship, all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. And that's when the children of Israel are going to get their reparations, and this is when we're going to be restored. Thank you.